Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the agenda as posted.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. First item on our agenda is invoices, commissioners' reports. No, just like I told Nancy, sometimes when I go through this, I just probably get too critical.
No.
But there isn't a South Bannock County Fair.
I will let her know that. And well, you're not being too critical, because if you have that question, somebody else may. So,
and that's the only thing on that one. I mean, we've worked real hard at that.
yeah.
And then I talked to you earlier, there's at least 10 or 15 on search and rescue that says miscellaneous.
So those are the line items, because when we went to the new system, so the second line you're looking at that says miscellaneous, that's the actual line item that it's reading from. But the line above that says, I think, July 2022 search and rescue, it should have mileage on the end of that. And I asked, we had 3 different people doing AP this week, which we'll probably have for the next month because of year end. But I let Alicia and Caitlin both know, put mileage on the end of that so that it's very clear what we're reimbursing. We know that's all we reimburse them for, but nobody else would potentially know that, and somebody from the public definitely would.
And then the second part of that, if it is mileage, then it needs to come before us before it's written out in checks.
Oh, yes. Sorry, those I did miss because...
Oh, no, that's the procedure that we do with everybody.
It is. I just didn't even think about it with search and rescue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will...
Well, and then the coroner's name's involved in some of that.
Would you like us to hold those and then have you review them next week? Well, review them next week before we release?
No, I'm okay with releasing them. We just got to get in that habit.
Yep.
Because of our schedule the next week or two, I don't want to
Okay.
mess with that either, hold up, but there was so much discrepancy in some of them.
That's because I had 3 people doing it, so I'll tell them to get...
No, I mean, in the amount that they were...
And that's because it's based on the number of calls they go on. So if you have one individual that's a little more active than someone else and they respond to all of the calls, they're going to get more mileage than somebody that might just respond to one.
Yeah.
So, but you'll know that when you pre-approve it next time.
Yeah, just something that, like I say, if we're doing it with others, we need to do it
We do.
with everybody.
And I think when Teresa turns those in, I think it's a summary sheet, so it's not like you're going to have individual pages to look at. Theirs is a little more condensed to look at, so it'll be cleaner to look at for what it's worth.
Well, and to me, it's kind of like the fair people when we did it with them. And this is the fair. And I guess, what's the check and balance system on this?
We should probably develop a better one.
To me, some of the people that are okaying these are also the people that are purchasing.
Well, the Fair Board approves anything for Piney. Our office will not allow any, like even on your per diems, that's why for your per diem, Jeff and Terrell have to sign off on it. She won't approve any of these, but it is hard to track the items that they're purchasing and what they're used for at the fair. The premiums, those are probably awards that they did to reimburse them because they shouldn't be paying premiums. Maybe what we can do on these is do a pre-approval, especially looking at the dollar amounts on some of them, is do a pre-approval of them before we process them through AP. Would that work?
Yeah, like I said, there are just a lot in this one on the fair, all kinds of things. And I guess one of my other questions as I look through there, how come we're paying so many meal tickets? And that's a question for the fair and fair board.
You know what, we have done that forever, and we pay the meal tickets for the volunteers and for the fair board members. And so if you're...
And a lot of these are looks like the vendors.
Oh, yeah. But, so if you, those are the tickets that they give away to people. So say you go down there and they give you a free meal ticket. then they turn all of those in, and whichever vendor you give that to, they get reimbursed for it.
That's what that is there.
Yeah, that's what that
Okay.
is.
That's what I couldn't figure out. Why are we giving vendors meal tickets?
Yeah, oh,
That's,
yeah.
they're paying to come to our event, and then we, okay, that makes
That
no
does look
sense.
funny. And the one for DeLynn, that's the one I brought before you.
That's the one we talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about it
But the one
before
for
the other
Tiny,
day.
those I didn't, so maybe what I'll do when those are on there next time is either pre-approve them with you before we process them, or bring them up so that you can see everything that's being paid.
And put her first name on there. When I see reimbursed Moser, I just gotta, it's my eyes too. Burning.
Anytime there's a common last name, they should put
We should
a
put-
first initial.
Well, she's married, that's why I was,
That's what she goes by on everything.
huh,
When she turned it in, that's what she had it.
okay, but I see Moser, what's
Yeah,
that one for?
it's not me. Yeah.
There's, and this, it's not a big deal, but like here's Road and Bridge, conference, 5 people.
Yeah, those should be broken out.
And then there's another one right here behind it
Because,
that's,
that's going to be, I just looked at that when I pulled the iCrimp claim. That's for the highway conference, and it's Kyle, Bobette, Josh, Buddy, and I can't remember the last one.
and I just,
But you need to know the names.
and then the same with the appraisal on the next page is education. And it just has, maybe it's just courses they're paying for, I don't know. It's
That one is I think that one is the summer school.
summer appraisal mapping school courses.
So that was for multiple people. But
And it just
you need to know that.
doesn't really, like I say,
I don't know if that's, I'll double check on the system and see if that's how the system's printing it out. And if it is, then we need to provide a second page, because it might just be that report that's not showing the names. Because I know, like on the lens, when we did all that equipment, there were the 5 different line items. So if you're seeing the 5 different lines, she's breaking it out in the system by each one, but it's how it's showing on that report that you're not seeing the detail. And if that's the case, then we need to give you the other report that we were using for a while that does show the detail, so that you have that information.
and then this one just says 208 demolition derby, Bannock County Fair 2022, fair exhibit operation meal tickets for $1,700, which was kind of interesting to me when I read that. And the reason that came to my mind is when we had the fair board here, they said that they come in and took care of everything on the demolition derby. So I didn't think, why is there an expense kind of deal?
And that one, I don't know, but I could go get the invoice.
But, like I say, we have so many different meetings and conversations.
Yeah, and I used to check the commission report, but I think I would.
But that's,
We pay you to do bigger things.
But then I can't necessarily, most of the questions I can answer, but like on that one, I don't know because I didn't look at it.
well, and I appreciate it, but I appreciate the conversations too, and especially as we record and things that the people know that we're looking at line by line and
Well,
pay
and
attention and.
and that feedback I can take back and tell them to do things differently in their descriptions. I want to remind them that just because we know what we're doing, that doesn't mean others do, and definitely not the public. And I've always stressed that when they put the descriptions in, because if a public comes in, unless you really want to pull the invoice, it's easier just to have the description there and have it right.
Right. Well, the other thing that I've noticed, especially looking through this today, is I'm not seeing a lot of crazy year-end spending going on.
No.
So, that's good.
And that's big thing that we check.
Mr. Chair, make a motion we approve the commissioner's report as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye. 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 Next, we have salary rate approval forms. Do you have another one?
No, I just wanted to run through the
Oh, that was the
recurring,
recurring.
but we can do it after your. I figure it's better if I just present them before the fact, and then you can say yes, no, and then I can have them final for next week.
That's good.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the salary rate approval forms as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And then we have alcohol licenses. That's been such a better process.
I love it. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the alcohol licenses as presented.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, so for recurring for FY '23, I left most all of everything the same, except I took off the conflict attorneys, because we only have one right now anyways. But I think the arrangement we had made with Braden and Shanda was they would send us an invoice once a month.
The attorneys.
The attorney,
Yes.
yeah. Because last year we had the take off ad, and it became kind of a little
Right.
overwhelming, and I didn't want to miss something. So I took those off, and then I added, for some reason, we have, well, I'll just run through them. So on the monthly, what we'll be paying is the ambulance, health department, the free clinic, SECA, Aid for Friends, Health West, and then the secretary for community guardians, and that's, so the only thing I took off was the conflicts for that one. For the quarterly, we've got CASA, Lava Historical, Pocatello Historical, Mother Infant Care, and there's no change on that one. The semi-annual is Pocatello Senior Citizens, Telebus, and Family Services Alliance. No change on that one. The annual ones, we have our 2 tower leases, and then we have our admin fees. We have the prisoner food, the Board of Community and Guardians, the donation just for them, the liability insurance that we pay internal from landfill and from juvenile detention. We have Bright Tomorrows, and then we have Downey American Legion. We have Alava Veterans. Are you good if I add Downey American Legion on here? It's $2,500.
Yeah.
Okay, I just thought that might be easier, since we already have Lava, I don't know why we didn't have Downey.
Should have Downey.
Okay, that's all I got.
And then just for the record, those are all items that we've budgeted for, and those are just doling out the amounts that we budgeted for
Yes.
on the specific timetable.
So as opposed to people sending us invoices for these, either monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annually, we just automatically generate them within our system. You still sign off on them on the commission report, and they're paid the 3rd week of the month,
Okay.
traditionally.
Look, why don't we add the health department? What, I mean, is it a monthly, or what is the?
They are.
What did you, I didn't,
They are on here,
Oh,
health
okay.
department, yeah.
I didn't
They're
catch
on a
that then.
monthly,
Okay,
yeah,
I
they're
missed that
monthly.
one.
So if you were okay with these, I'll do an agenda request, signature only, and put them on for next Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Works. Okay. On Thursday's a limited meeting. so-
Right, but this is going to be signature only, and I could wait.
No, it's just like part of the budget. It's just, we're going to go over the
Because I can do the following week too.
bills. No, that's fine. Next week's fine.
I just didn't want it to fall through
I
the
just,
cracks.
as we talked about it yesterday, actually what is on there again is kind of like today,
Okay.
but they're adding a few things here and there.
You opened Pandora's box.
If there's an opening, somebody, sometime. All right.